This hearing turned fast. AOC came in swinging, and Bank of America answered with math.
Your banks have opted out of Paycheck Protection Program forgiveness,
Excuse me, that is incorrect.
with the portal with the SBA. Thank you. I was trying to finish my sentence. Now, I would like to zero in a little bit on Bank of America. Mr. Moynihan, are you aware of how many PPP loans your bank has facilitated on behalf of its customers?
About 400 and almost 500,000, and 95% are forgiven or repaid already. And we're finishing up the rest of them.
How many of those loans, in terms of the percentage, have those loans been forgiven in full as opposed to in part?
The ones that are forgiven are mostly, vast majority be forgiven in full.
In full. What we're starting to see here with some reporting in The Intercept, and this is just one reason why I was curious about the numbers, is that we're starting to see that Bank of America is refusing to forgive some PPP loans in full, but in terms of the portal that Bank of America has set up, it's very difficult to appeal these decisions. And in fact, what we're seeing is that Bank of America had pre-populated a forgiveness amount in their portal, sometimes drastically lower than small business owners had anticipated and had qualified for. And in instances where these small business owners have documentation, there's very little recourse or appeal. Does your portal make it easy to appeal their decisions so that after 2 attempts, the SBA can then take over the case?
Borrowers can appeal. 95% of loans are forgiven and repaid today, so we're only talking about 5% of loans, and a substantial part of those are going through the appeal process as we speak. And so the borrowers can appeal, and we're in the process of finishing up that last 20,000 or so loans. It's a small amount of loans, and they're finishing.
And to certify that 95% is a full forgiveness amount percent?
Forgiveness or repayment. Some of them,
Full forgiveness, not partial.
the vast majority are full forgiveness, but I can get the data to you.
So is the 90, I apologize, not to, belabor the point, but is that 95% a partial loan forgiveness or a full loan forgiveness rate?
They're getting what the borrowers are applying for the forgiveness entitled on the program. 95% of them have gone through or repaid, and the vast majority of them are full forgiveness, but they're entitled to what the program designed. The government designed the program, and we implement the program very short notice. 500,000 people, 10,000 people working on this program.
And
Easter weekend working on the program to help those borrowers at the time. And so we're finishing that up. It's just let the process go. And a lot of what you're reading, frankly, is not the facts because it's old. It doesn't understand how the math works. And so just give us some time. We'll give you the facts and you'll see it.
I understand the idea of fighting for the underdog, but you have to understand that you're disregarding the other 95% of people. He's blatantly telling you this in your face here with numbers here, that some of the 95 specifically are either full or partial. Okay. Now, the conversation needs to be had, obviously, about the 5%, but the 5%, whatever they're going through specifically, does not outweigh the other 95% here. AOC's whole entire methodology, ideology, and how she moves around the world here is basically finding these 80-20 issues that are not really affecting the masses at all under any circumstance and just affect a very small percentage. Basically, the voice of the underdog. I get it here. Never disregard the 95% for the 5%. Okay? Let's not do that. And something tells me this is one of the main reasons she's disliked so profusely.
It's all in the public.
What is the reason that Bank of America chose to opt out of the SBA portal?
I can get somebody to give you that. I have no idea of whether, I told you before, I'm not sure we did or didn't, and I have no idea why they would have made the decision, but we are processing loans as fast as anybody.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm just having a tough time. This is about $25.2 billion in loan amounts in your bank, correct? And
not anymore. No, it's down.
But at one point in time. And so we are looking, and so
Pay attention to that.
You're uncertain as to why the bank has not chosen to
Like, she really does not have the updated information. Hence the reason why she keeps dwelling on things that have happened before. He then immediately says this here. That was before. This is not now. You're talking about the initial sum, most likely that was kind of insured, most likely by the FDIC. Who knows here, guys, right? But just understand, there is a lot less because they are giving it out to people. So this should immediately tell you this is somewhat of a bad faith measure here, like a bad faith argument, because she's utilizing old data. Because she's utilizing old data to attempt to prove her point.
Enroll in the SBA portal?
I said we will get you the information. The amount of loans we have left on this thing is a billion or so. It's down to very little amount.
No worries.
It's all paid back. It's all through. The team did a great job.
In my district, I represent Rikers Island. I represent kids that go to jail for jumping a turnstile because they can't afford a Metro card. Do you think that more folks should have gone to jail for their role in a financial crisis that led to 7.8 million foreclosures in the 10 years between 2007 and 2016, Mr. Diamond?
I don't think people should go to jail for jumping a subway. I think we put too many people into jail. And I think if people broke the law, they should go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that the failure to hold more people accountable for the 2008 crisis is a failure of our legal system?
Look, you have to talk to a lot of legal experts about why more people didn't, whether they deserve to, whether they broke the law, what's intent, what's not intent. But you have to talk to legal experts about that.
On that note, Mr. Diamond, I do want to commend you for your decision and Chase's decision to pull out of financing for private prisons. I think that has led to some changes, particularly with Wells Fargo as well, in making sure that we begin to divest from some of the troubling things that we're seeing, particularly when it comes to the caging of children at our border. I have one last question with respect to that's more future looking. Recently, the Federal Reserve Board decided not to activate the countercyclical capital buffer this year, but banks are very profitable, making a record $237 billion in profits last year. Mr. Corbett, is this not the best time for banks? Is this not the best time for the Fed to build more capital so that they can be in a better position to weather a future downturn?
As I stated earlier, that today, by the Fed's own measurement, they're measuring 23 or 24 different types of capital. What we've said is we're welcome to a holistic approach, of which the countercyclical buffer is one. But rather than pick individual, let's look holistically at what the right solution is.
Guys, what's interesting is that for a second there, I was just like, hold on, AOC, you're going somewhere. I'm going to be honest here, right? Because again, I have the ability to kind of look at, listen to people when they speak and say, okay, you have something here. Until you started getting into the random nonsense here. What does this have to do with the border crisis? All right. Like, what does it have to do with that? I don't know. A little strange here, but here's the thing. When it comes down to the banking system and taking PPP loans, guys, we know that this thing was entirely rife with fraud based off of the amount of people that have been arrested for it. Now, did every single person involve themselves with it? No, this is obviously the minority here. Right. But just understand this here. This was a thing. And I have to mention the fact that there was some troubling issues, specifically during the time of the PPP loans here. But it's interesting how she immediately keeps going after these guys here that she's speaking to, and immediately is like looking for the corruption when at times there really is not much corruption here. Like if we listen to the guy from Bank of America basically speaking from earlier here, what is he talking about? He's saying, listen, we are trying to maintain all of what we can absolutely maintain within the bounds of what we have, if that makes any sense here, guys. And what is her response here? Her response is, you guys are evil because, et cetera, while looking at old data. This is not meaningful. Like these are the most entertaining things you guys have ever sent me consistently. I appreciate you guys sending me these things. Once the CEO started speaking, the entire narrative that she was trying to push that everyone is corrupt and everyone is trying to steal and everyone is trying to, pilfer, take advantage, kind of falls apart once the data starts coming out. And that's kind of what I generally speak about when it comes to a lot of like uber left leaning people. Like, not even just, hey, listen, I'm center left, I'm center right. None of these things. We're talking about the extremes on either angles of things here. Whenever they speak, specifically the left, you start to realize that it's not about what's true here. I feel this is wrong, so it's wrong, and that's it. Don't be surprised if there is not like another Democrat in like big office for a while, specifically if the party is basically being ran like this here. I'm not sure that there's even an option, because the left right now is completely losing it, chasing issues that only affect less than 10% of the people. Guys, that's not enough to put you back in the White House, guys. All right, that's not enough. You need something more than this. You cannot rely on the fact that if the other 90% of the population do not agree with the small, minute 10% of the population, then they're morally wrong and evil and they should have no voice. You can't preach that and then get surprised when you keep losing.